I wanted to do a presentation on how my views have changed over the last 3 years. Sometimes people ask stuff like that. How have your views changed, and what would you do different, and so forth. And I briefly mentioned this in one other video, but I haven't shared what I have come to pretty much believe lately. The reason for this is because sometimes people come up and say things like, you think you can't be wrong, you think you know everything, which is patently not true. It's really not the case at all that I think that I know or have some kind of an edge on the market. In fact, if you've watched this channel for very long, you know that I pride myself on not playing the cherry-picking studies game, where everybody pulls up a study and claims to have some sort of monopoly on what causes what health condition. I have this new phone here, and I'm trying to angle it up, but I can't manage to do it. So, one of the things that I think I was wrong on was the fat issue. I used to say, like a lot of people did, a little bit of oil is good. I no longer believe that. I no longer believe that oil, plant or animal, is good for you. I think that you should not aim to have, including these olive oils, and I have come to see that it is easier to keep weight off and even drop weight without trying, on or off of OMAD, if you get rid of fats in your diet mostly. And I'm not saying that that's completely true. I'm not saying some plant fat is not okay, like avocados and nuts and things like that. That's one of the things that initially I mentioned when I started this channel, and I was wrong on. And I took down the video on oil that I did about olive oil, one of my earlier videos. As a result of that, I also learned that one of the products I recommended was a not legitimate. So there's one example. The second thing is splurge days. I regret having said anything about them, because one of the things that I run into is that people think that they're supposed to go out and binge. They just can't shake that notion of the idea that they're doing well, and every 2 or 3 weeks they have to go out and binge. And I haven't said that, but that's how they have interpreted it. So those are two examples of how I have changed, and I feel like I have grown in my knowledge a little bit. And people don't always handle change very well, because they interpret it as weakness, number one, or two, they interpret it as malicious in some way, and which is kind of dumb, because obviously if I hold views that I believe are true, they're my views. Otherwise I wouldn't hold them. They wouldn't be my views. It's like the question of why we don't have the ability to time travel. If humans had the ability to time travel, we would always go back in time and correct our mistakes, in which case there would be no present, because everybody would be unhappy with something that happened, and so we would go back and change some event. So there would be no timeline. There would be no now, because somebody's not going to be happy with it. It's the same thing with us. Obviously, the views that I hold are my views. Otherwise, I wouldn't hold them. But if I could just go and redo everything I've ever done, then I wouldn't be human. But that's what makes us human, the ability to be wrong sometimes. I think if you go by the 90-10 rule that I have given, 90% carbs, 10% flesh food and or fats, plants or animals, I think that's the best ratio. And I have shown in my videos with starches, with legumes, with other videos that I have showcased up to now, you can have a pretty dang satisfying meal and enjoy yourself and feel fairly satiated. So I don't think that we need to put too much emphasis on food. I think we need to maintain what I have done in terms of understanding that food is just one side of the weight loss equation or life maintenance equation, because it's all life maintenance. It's all you living with yourself. It's all you getting up and realizing that everything that brought you to today, that's the fact that you can complain that you are here, and you can complain about your health problems and what you don't have and what you do have, and that means you've won the game. The fact that you ask the question, do I have meaning, means you have meaning. because you can ask that question. And every mistake that you have made in your life, go back as far as you can remember. All of those things brought you to now. Because if they didn't, you wouldn't be here to talk about it, which means you won. 1 trillion versions of you could have been. A different sperm could have permeated the egg of your mother, and you would not have been. Someone else would have been. But you made it. Therefore, you are the class act. You are the man or woman of the hour. You have succeeded where others have failed. And so in your darkest moments, when you look back at your mistakes and what you could have done or what you wish you had done, remember, you would never have the knowledge that you have right now if it were not for those mistakes. That's why everything had to have been the way it is. That's why there's no reason to worry. There's no reason to fret. There's no reason to say, if only I had been a better person, if I had been a smarter person, if I had listened more, I would have done X instead of Y. The fact that you're here to recognize that now means you got a benefit out of the deal. A huge benefit, because now you know, whereas otherwise you wouldn't have known. Go back 20 years on a mistake you made and make the opposite decision. Ask yourself if you would know and appreciate what you appreciate now. The answer is you wouldn't. I can automatically tell you that. You have learned more now through everything you have gone through than anything you've ever done. And for those of you who write me, who are in the throes of woe is me, I have a whole bunch of emails that I have tried to put aside that are woe is me emails, where somebody says, why did I have to be born with muscular dystrophy? Why did I have to be born with genetics that make me fat? Why did I... Stop and realize that all of those things, every single one of the combination of what you experienced was inevitable, because the way life is, the way life expresses, the lottery, the genetic lottery, means you had to have to be one of the ones who gets the genetic hand that you've been dealt. So why wouldn't it have been you versus somebody else? Why does somebody have to say, why was it me and not somebody else? Why the heck would you say that? What makes you less or more worthy to get a good genetic hand at something? Do you see how selfish we are? We all do that. We play that sort of game. We say, why me? There is no why me. There is only why now. So that's it for today. I'm going to go back and maybe watch some TV or something.